Wait, you guys haven't heard? It's the Very Real Fantasy Football Show!
Well, it's been a few weeks, but we thought we should probably get together.
Hang out a little bit.
Put a bow on this thing.
I love a good bow.
Wrap it up.
Oh, man.
Works in a lot of categories in your life. Wrap it up.
I wouldn't know.
Real lever.
Just let her fly.
Just a real lever. Pull the goalie kind of guy.
So happy to say, fellas, that all three of us this season fantasy champions.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say took it.
Oh.
I mean, a couple leagues I took it. It's fine. Losing a championship game is probably the most humiliating feeling in the world. You're so close. You can just taste it. The agony of defeat in that championship game is an absolute demoralizing experience.
You're out there, you're on full display to the rest of the league because it's just that championship game. That's all that's left. So when you lose that game, yeah. But for me personally, I feel like the biggest piece of shit when I get bounced out like week one of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a real piece of shit feeling.
Yeah.
You're like, I made it, and I'm out.
Yeah.
But
and
you got a couple of weeks to watch things, and you get settled down way easier than the guy who just lost the title game.
True.
That guy is... Check on that guy in your league. Second place isn't doing okay.
He's not.
He's not.
You're not.
My friend. My friend wants to kill himself.
If you're like a 1 seed, you get a first round bye.
And then you get bounced? That's a shit bag. That might be two. It can't beat losing in the title game is the ultimate. I just felt it.
Or like in one of the league that I won, where I went against the top team after they had a bye, and they had been the best team all year long.
Yeah.
And then I beat them because my team just went bananas on them. I mean, and I'm like, yep. It took that to be able to beat you. And then I just ran the table.
You know, I had in the league I talk about on here with you guys a few times with all the old guys.
Yeah.
All the 50-year-olds. Dan, these guys, they got 5 years on you, pal.
That's a real brittle league.
Half a decade. Yeah, a lot of bad hearts in that league.
A lot of extra seasoning on those fellas.
But in that league, so I win. It's my second year playing with these guys.
Do you guys go by dog year since you're such old pricks or what? To make you feel better?
I like to remind them of the age gap.
So it's still the first season, technically, second year?
Younger, sharper. But, yeah, it was good, man. It was one of those things where I had, I think, the third highest scoring team in the league all season. I'm up there, and it just horrible luck all season. Horrible luck. I was second highest in points and lost like 3 different times. Just one of those where...
Hate it.
Literally, I had to play the highest scoring team in the league twice during the regular season. I beat him the first time, luckily. I had to play him the very last week of the season just to get into the playoffs.
Love that scenario.
Beat him again. What's my reward? First round matchup against the highest scoring team in the league. Beat him again. 3-0.
You're like, call me daddy.
Dude.
I own you right now, pal.
And then I had to go through Bonzi, who was the defending champion, to get to the Super Bowl. Beat him. I get to the Super Bowl. I have a big Thursday night. The dude I'm playing checks out completely. Leaves the group chat. Yeah, just won't even take it like a man. Knew he was defeated and checked all the way out. Like left the group chat.
Love it.
Wouldn't stay there to take the abuse.
I hope someone in his family hit him too. Just right in the face.
Just a J off, dude. So
and you can tell that with age comes maturity.
Yeah,
that's theoretically. That crusty old 50-year-old man acting like an absolute asshat. I'd go to his house and leave shit in his front yard signage. You know what I mean? Neon signs. Fuck that guy. What a loser.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Fuck that dude.
A little heavy-handed, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Of course.
Like what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
It's just
I thought we were in the circle of trust.
That's immature. That's immature. It's like, fuck that guy.
You know what I mean? Like, once we've established dude's like immature and not worthy of being in a fantasy league, like, fuck that dude, right?
He lives in Missouri, so his yard's safe. I'm not making that trip.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not my pot to piss in. But I tell you what, as someone who's in leagues, if anyone acted like that, I'm the dude who's gonna settle that straight.
Yeah. Well, I won. So
You settled it the old-fashioned way.
I settled it the old-fashioned way.
Have you enacted prima nocta in the league now that you've won?
I don't know what that means. I don't speak Spanish.
First of all, it's an Office reference about the movie Braveheart, so it's deep. It's got
yeah. Yes.
And then Michael goes on to say, he's like, didn't know that's what prima nocta meant. Okay, so
Eric, do you get this reference?
Not from The Office, but from Braveheart, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
prima nocta. There you go. That should settle that league down a little bit.
Some good pre.
Oh my God. Yeah, good for you. I'm glad to hear you won that league. Eric, though, beat us both in a league.
Yeah.
That's a title I beat you both in a league.
Yeah.
That's a title you can really.
You beat me in the Super
You
Bowl,
won
so
a league
I'm the second place,
I
loser in that.
physically beat you.
Yes.
In the title game.
Yes.
Came by your house, made you watch the score, and just pow, pow, pow. But your titles, Eric, far as Eric and I are concerned, they're made up. We're not in those leagues. We have nothing invested. So, yeah, I won 5 leagues you guys aren't in either, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them guys.
I mean, I both the leagues that I'm in with you guys, I'm rebuilding. So whatever.
Yeah, you didn't even sniff fear in either one of us. So just wanted to make the titles clear. They're not all created equal. You did win 2, but I did 2 we could give a fuck about.
Yeah.
So.
I won Marty Perry's league too.
It's not bad. At least I know the dude. You know what I mean? I actually know the guys in the other league too, but the Marty Perry league's pretty competitive.
It is.
I don't know how competitive the Bonzi league is, but it sounds like it's extra mature.
It is actually competitive though. It is good. I mean,
over 1,000 years of life just chilling in that league, huh?
There really is. I think. Hold on.
About 500 years.
Yeah, about 500.
At least.
Half a thou.
Wow.
Good solid half thou.
They've been playing since the days of Rome, I guess.
They were doing fantasy gladiators, dude.
Oh!
They took Russell Crowe.
Sick!
Russell Crowe with the 4th pick.
Maximus Meridius. They got so many names. And they're
Joaquin Phoenix.
You're taking him with the first pick?
Hey, sleeper.
Bold.
He's going, yeah.
I mean, he gets some bodies, but...
I mean, he is going to be the king for a little while.
Just take the Lion.
The Lion King?
It's the gladiators.
Yeah. I was like, hey, okay, now let's cross movies up.
All right, so the season that was, gentlemen, this is kind of, what we want to get into is a quick look back and just to wrap it up. Because it was a fun season.
It was. There was, as usual. There was disappointments. There was shocks.
Yes.
There was, business as usual. Mm-hmm. And, of course, everyone's favorite is the guy you draft in the first round that's like the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like a Christian McCaffrey.
Like the guy first overall, then all of a sudden they're like, actually he's injured and just not going to play. Pretty much.
We can look at some of that too. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys do any fantasy playoff stuff.
Playoffs?
There's a thing that I get into every year it's pretty cool. It's you pick your lineup.
Oh, I think you told me, and that's where if they continue to play, then you still get points.
You still get points.
If they're out, then they're out. So you want to try to pick guys on good teams.
There you go. It's
I feel like I'm trying too hard when I find new ways outside of my normal fantasy to play. It sounds awesome.
It's fun, dude.
But I feel like I'm like, all right, man, I know when I'm allowed to just get, wasted off of this fantasy. Like I spend a lot of months just really stressed out. So it's done. I'm happy. It's done and I'm happy.
In this season specifically, Eric, Bears fan, Eric, Niners fan, Bulbous Dan, Bengals fan. None of us have teams in the actual playoffs.
No, we're all free and clear to just
We're
peruse
all
around.
on vacation. All of our guys are like,
we've all checked out with our fantasy and fandom. That leaves us as just casual football observers.
Well, I'm offering you an opportunity to still have rooting interest for 50 United States dollars with the opportunity to win about 2,000. If you're interested.
I mean,
anyhow, we can talk about it off the air.
You know how I like a good $2,000, but
yeah.
I don't. What are we got to do here?
You one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flex, tight end, kicker, D.
All right.
And you pick them from whoever you want. Right. From any of the teams in the postseason.
Okay.
Oh, so it doesn't even matter. Like, you're not picking against people. It's
Nope.
just you just pick the guys.
You're trying to have the best total at the end of the playoffs.
You got it. When the Super Bowl's over.
All right.
Trying to have the best total. And it's...
So you got to look and be like, who do I think is going to be in the Super Bowl
There you go.
first? I need guys off those teams.
Work backwards.
And then you work backwards.
And you look at teams like Detroit and like Kansas City. Okay, yeah, sure, pick those guys. Except they've got a first-round bye.
So they're not getting any points right out there.
Right.
Yep.
I like a lot of the Eagles in that situation.
Same.
I like me some Eagles.
Eagles and Bills.
Put your money in that A.J. Brown basket. I think he's going to go nuts, especially the first game.
Dude, we are thinking along the same lines. Bonzi and I did an episode this morning to wrap up that show for the year, and we forecasted out this fantasy playoff thing, and that's what I was telling him. Like, dude, I'm loading up on Eagles for this, man. I'm gonna load up on Eagles and Bills because they both play wild card round, and to me, both have the best chance of making it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Imagine the Bengals still in the playoffs. That's some heat right there.
God,
or the Ravens. Does he finally win and go? I mean, the Ravens looking good.
Dude,
They got a running game.
I've been taught to quote the Raven nevermore. So again,
Ravens Bills round 2. So that's going to be a big.
Yeah,
I mean, assuming that they both win.
Yes.
yeah, whoever wins that's going to have the quarterback of the winning point total. I think because you're going to have Josh Allen or Lamar. They're going to make the Super Bowl, and then you got dudes who use their legs and their arm.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. It makes it interesting. It really does.
Though,
And it's fun.
now we're starting up. My soul needs rest. Like that's I put a lot into the fantasy season, and
There's a lot of time to rest after February.
but it takes with Dynasty offseason and me already badgering people for trades. Like I'm pretty knuckle deep in just adrenaline already.
Dude, you're elbow deep. Don't try to.
You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty invested in this donkey.
All right. Well,
Got it from Tijuana on deals, so
something to think about. Something to think about.
Have you ever been to a donkey show? Maybe we could trade like that $50 or a donkey show.
No, but I do have a cruise booked coming up, so I'll check the excursion list and see if
you stop off at old Port
we're
Donkey.
we're swinging through the Dominican. I'm not sure if they do that kind of stuff
I think
there or
they're
not.
pretty loose with donkeys. You know what I mean? Like, so you should be good. Might not be anything of interest I can offer you once you get the free ride. So enjoy. Donkeys, bro.
So Lamar Jackson was the highest scoring quarterback of the season. He was number 1.
Makes sense.
Yep, he was averaging in our scoring format anyway 33.4 points per game in fantasy.
Massive. Question for you guys. Do you think that the voters have MVP fatigue with Lamar and it's just the Josh Allen switch up because they're so equal, like with stats?
I don't know if it'll be Eric.
I don't know. I mean, last year, Lamar was on a better team, but Josh Allen had better stats, quote unquote.
And he didn't win it.
But he didn't win it. Now Lamar has a little bit better stats, but Buffalo's a little bit better of a team. I mean, but man, they are really, really good players that have carried their teams.
You look at
so you kind of look at it. I mean, you take either one of them off of their team, and they're not near as good. They just aren't for what they did. So, but sometimes they do. They award it. Same thing with like LeBron. They didn't give it to LeBron all the time. They got to give it to somebody.
Jordan fatigue too.
Yes, they give it to somebody else. Like, listen, there's other excellent players in this league, and it's not always just about the stats, but it's pretty close. But I think Allen should be able to get it.
You know,
but Lamar can get it just as easily too.
Why aren't all numbers created equal too in fantasy? I was thinking about this before the show, you guys. Like with Garrett Wilson this year, everyone was kind of down on him. Like he felt like he had a down year. He posted career numbers across the board.
Yeah, he was good.
But it didn't feel like it. And then some other guy will post the same numbers and we're just rolling around for him. Like, dude, what a breakout, what a stud. It's weird how numbers like are celebrated, you know? Like Aaron Rodgers had the same numbers as Pat Mahomes this year. Like, what the fuck?
Well, neither one of them were startable in fantasy.
I got beat in the title game by Pat Mahomes. He had the best game of the year was week 17. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely so pissed at Pat. Just go back to 17 points a game, you dick.
bringing it back to the MVP thing, I don't like giving out an MVP based on hypotheticals. Like, what would happen if you take this guy off this team? Hard saying.
Yeah, it is. I get it, but it also adds value. Because if it's not otherwise call it who is the best quarterback on the best team award.
Well, right, and to me, it's just who put up the best stats, right? I mean, think about.
Doesn't do a best. Don't call it value, because I feel like value is literally what the word is like. Without him, this offense is terrible because he brings that much value to the team.
Yeah, most valuable is not a great way to put it. Should just be the MVP. Should just be
who's the best player?
Best player.
Yeah.
Who's the best player?
Yeah. Well,
who's the best player?
They have best offensive player.
Right. To me.
But it depends though. You can't just go on stats, because you have to look at the wins, losses. Did they sit a little bit? Was the defense bad to where they had to continuously throw and put up big numbers compared to we're beating them and then we could just run the ball because we're beating them so bad?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no exact guidelines. Like rule 1 for voting for MVP. Did they?
Almost rule 1 is it's going to be a quarterback because we're not going to give it to anybody else.
Yes, almost rule 1 exactly is that.
Well, it should be a quarterback.
But they should just have best quarterback award.
Name the most obscure, weirdest MVP of all time.
It was a kicker.
Yeah, it was a punter.
It was a punter.
Fucking punter, dude.
Yeah.
A punter.
Yeah.
He was really good.
So let's open up the books a little more than quarterbacks. We've had a punter win the bitch. Let's spice it up. And here's an interesting fact. Not even football, but just MVP history. Great grandfather of mine, I don't know how many greats, actually came up with the first MVP award, and it was for Major League Baseball, and he gave Ty Cobb a car from our Chalmers line.
I don't believe it.
Look it up. Look it the fuck up. Not on Wikipedia, though. That's not real information. Not that Google searches are dominant, but look it up. It's pretty common knowledge if you know baseball that Ty Cobb received the first MVP, but it wasn't like a trophy. It was an actual car. And there was
for being like the best player. I did look at it. It was like they didn't have the MVP yet, but he was the best player, so he awarded him for being the best player.
Yes.
And
I forget what they call it.
Basically
Basically inventing what we have today is the MVP award. So, pretty cool history there.
That is really cool. Yeah. That is really cool. I always think, stats are kind of a direct measurement of what a player does, especially with the way stats have become so intricate and developed, and they can measure like anything. So
Jamar Chase should be the MVP of the league?
It should be in discussion.
How can a guy, how can a guy can show more that he is the best other than going out and putting up the best numbers? When week in, week out, he's doing the most on the field.
And
Burrow, that's the best.
Sucks because
maybe Burrow.
How do you compare their stats though? It's like a wide receiver compared to a quarterback. I can compare quarterbacks to quarterbacks. I can see stats, but how can you weigh 100 catches is worth more than 5,000 yards? You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that's also where they come down to where I say you can't just look at the numbers. Let's say that we're up. Our team kicks everybody's ass, and we're up 30-10. Okay, I don't have to put up any more numbers. We're up 28-10. Like, we're dominated. We're winning. Well, other people, as we know, it's garbage time. You go up there. Well, they're just throwing now. So they're going to have these padded stats that because they're trying to come back to win the game, which is the ultimate,
Bengals
reason.
were in the weirder spot of in between your two examples.
Right.
The Bengals were losing games, so they had to go out there and throw and put up those, and then some other ones were winning. So they're
pretty sure they lost the most one-score games, but in those one-score games, there's 40 points a piece each team.
Yeah,
that's not sustainable. So that doesn't make Joe valuable. It makes them have to, and then they still end up 8-8. So.
I think
9-8, whatever.
It's not an exact science. You have to take all of it and
glad
put
I'm not voting.
Right,
I'd vote one day and be like, I'd call him and be like, "Can I change that real quick?"
And I think it's the hardest. In is that who is somebody? Is everybody okay? Is that you?
I'm fine.
He's kind of.
Yeah, is that you doing that?
No,
he's very romantic. I
think
it's
right. I'm like, what's happening under the?
We'll play it back. Let's get it replay.
It's a little bit like that.
He's trying to get his little wrestling persona mixing in.
Son of a bitch. Is everybody okay? It is harder, I think, in football than any of the other major sports to actually pick an MVP because there's, for one, it's 11 on 11 on 11. which makes it hard, right? So it's like, all right, well, you got to have a winning record. Well, one individual player is like responsible the least in football for their overall record.
Yes.
Because there's so much more that goes into it. You only play offense, you don't play defense, or you only play defense, you don't play offense. Whereas basketball, baseball, you're doing all of that. Hockey, even you know what I mean. So it's a lot harder in football. And then, like you said, it's how do you compare, 5,000 yards passing versus
like the year AP won MVP. It's like, I know he rushed for a lot of yards. He didn't catch a lot of passes. The Vikings didn't necessarily dominate the league.
Right.
It's weird. Like, I figured Saquon Barkley and Jamar Chase would be dead ass in the conversation, and they're just not. So it's you don't even consider defensive guys anymore. I haven't even heard TJ Watt's name ever brought up in the past 5 years when he's just dominating.
It's turned into a quarterback award.
Sucks.
And really, as they are the most important players on the field in football now. It's not like it used to be when, punters ruled the world.
Man, that was a good time. Pat McAfee was a beast. My God.
But as far as fantasy goes, Joe Burrow was number 2 fantasy QBs. He was my MVP.
That's my quarterback, man.
That's
my quarterback.
That's who I rode to a title.
Yeah, I rode that one to a title too there, Bubba.
Me too.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah. Holy shit.
We all had Joe Burrow on our championship roster.
Baby. Oh, baby. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I mean, when you're talking Joe Burrow, you're talking peak everything.
Yeah.
Looks, arm strength, charisma, hair. Batmobile, just the whole swag.
Thing. Number 3, Baker.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It's one of the biggest disappointments in my life is giving up Baker.
Let's talk about Baker. I love Baker.
I bet you do.
He's my
sack of
friend.
shit.
Dude,
stole him from me.
Baker. I did not steal anything. Somebody just couldn't wait to get rid of him, apparently, and wanted Spears.
I was trying to lock up a backfield. I couldn't project the future, predict it, whatever the fuck. I'm going to tell you right now, being a fantasy football guru means you're essentially a fortune teller.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're just a little bit above Miss Cleo. Call me now. Fantasy points.
You have to take some gambles, man. That's what fantasy is, and you have to try to predict what's going to happen. And Baker, at one point when he was in Carolina, they had him in practice
playing special teams and scout
on the
team
D-line,
defense. Yeah, dude.
And Darnold. They had Sam Darnold and Baker. And I think that was me making
so
that
what we got to start doing now is
you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
The Panthers.
Love you, buddy.
The Panthers and the Jets, dude. You can no longer judge talent that goes through those facilities anymore because when they leave those facilities, all of a sudden they can fucking play.
Yeah. Weird.
So
the Jets are horrible and
Carolina's horrible.
Well, as we also know, they don't, and it's been talked about a lot on other fantasy sports or just sports, that they don't develop guys like what they used to. They don't take the time to actually develop quarterbacks as much as they used to. Like, you got to be ready right now. If not, we're shipping you out, you know, or we're starting you right away, and then you fold because you just weren't quite ready for the NFL. Instead of like the Packers have always done it smart, where they draft a guy and they let him sit for years to learn the NFL position, and then when they start, they're usually pretty good.
Imagine a world in which let me take you on a ride. Where only beef brisket is microwaved.
Oh.
Nobody takes the time to smoke it.
I love beef brisket, but you don't dare put it in the microwave.
You fucking nuke it in this world of fast action quarterbacks. Holy shit.
Uh-oh. Watch out.
The production set.
Coming to a theater near you, brisket microwave. That's microwave.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Latin.
It's French.
And that's
that's French.
This summer, s'il vous plaît.
I think Baker's maybe. Looking through the top 10,
I wish him nothing but the worst. That fucked me. I'm pissed at you, Superflex stealing son of a bitch.
Wow. All right,
that's personal.
See what I get?
We're putting a bow on things. I had to get it out, man.
Let me just. How about this? I'll hammer out this top 10, and then we can react because wow. Baker is obviously 3.
Obviously, Baker's 3.
It's just because I just said it. And so I'm just a quick recap.
Recap this.
It goes Lamar, Burrow, Baker.
I just blacked out.
Josh Allen, Jared Goff. at 5.
Gave him
Jaden Daniels
easy.
at 6. Guys, 2 rookies in the top 10. Sam Darnold at 7. Bo Nix at 8.
I just don't understand football anymore.
Kyler Murray at 9. And
Kyler Murray at 9.
Patrick Mahomes?
Where would Kyler
At
Murray
10.
be if there was not a new Call of Duty release this year? You got to ask yourself that.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe top 3?
Maybe
Christ.
number 1. But
Yeah,
Mahomes gets
hate it.
in there at
Hate
number
it.
10.
Hate it. Feels like a lazy 10. Lazy Scranton.
A lazy 10.
It doesn't feel as impressive
Why
or
is
as
it lazy?
powerful as what we expect.
Doesn't seem well researched, and he's got like, no, these are the numbers, guys.
It's right here.
I don't know. Seems lazy, pal.
Jalen Hurts at 11. Geno Smith at 12. Justin
God damn.
Hebert at 13.
I dare one of you pricks to go in a time machine and go tell some people about Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Geno.
They're going to be like, so he's fantasy relevant in what, 2024? Get the fuck out of here.
What's next? Baker Mayfield?
2022,
Yeah.
2022, he was like 4th.
Oh, that's
Maybe
fifth.
selling
Day one.
insurance, dude. Lazy. Speaking of lazy Scranton,
Oh,
professionalism at its.
it's
You
a-
have 9
it's a-
podcasts and you don't know how to turn your ringer off?
I mean, listen, I've had a-
day one.
it's been a busy day.
Being a celebrity.
Yeah,
and just
it's tough.
Probably
man.
had a latte to drive through window.
I did get recognized today.
See? Yeah. From one of your parole officers or what?
I was getting my hair cut. And the guy waiting while I was just talking to the lady who cuts my hair, and the guy waiting was like, "I listened to you," and I was like, "Oh, hey." He's like, "I recognize your voice. I listened to you." He listened to me when I was on the radio.
Oh,
I recognized my
okay.
voice.
I
Yeah.
feel like, he's invested in the new podcast.
I told him
Random.
about it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
He's like, "Well, oh yeah, where are you at now? You're not on the radio anymore, right? What do you do?" So I told him about the podcast. So
Nice.
boom.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I've told no one. I don't really leave my house often.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for all your help.
Yeah, really
Pushing
been
it.
putting out there. I think I told like 3 family members at Christmas or something, but yeah, they ain't gonna listen. So
Nice work. Well
Yep.
done.
I figured, back in the day, I was doing all the promo shit that I could, and now I'm here
dude.
for the fun.
Chill.
Just
Yeah.
a character.
Chill. I'll handle all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
You know.
So I think to me the surprises, Jalen Hurts outside of the top 10. I mean Jordan Love down at 17, CJ
Yeah.
Stroud at 18.
CJ Stroud was terrible
Two
for fantasy this
beloved
year.
darlings just didn't perform. Love just dealt with inconsistencies in that offense. They really leaned on Josh Jacobs more than anyone predicted.
Yeah.
And, when it comes down to CJ Stroud, I don't really know what the fuck happened.
Second year, man, he'll be fine. He's a man in Dynasty. Go out and get him.
If you can buy him low, because I think people are low on him. But again, this could be. I mean, now you have 2 seasons to decide who the real CJ Stroud is.
Was he just is he a stud like he was
An
a rookie,
unstudied
or was that
lucky
just in
rookie?
a magnificent rookie year?
Could have been.
And he's going to be a middle quarterback.
As an Ohio State fan, I'm going to have to lean towards no, but I've also been ass wrong
He's
with
a
leaning
stud,
towards
dude.
my guys.
He's a stud. This is not the real
Okay.
CJ Stroud. That's
I
my
tried
prediction.
sticking up for him, in the playoffs here, and he made me look like an arse. So
Stafford was 19. Cousins was 20. I mean, these guys not startable to say the least, barely even rosterable.
Yes.
This season. So Brock Purdy at 15, my sweet baby boy.
yeah, I'm
What a
building
rough
around
go.
him in a league. I think that's a good call. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
a good year, so he was
He'll
hurt.
be just fine.
All his weapons were hurt.
The big surprise to a point, I'll say Baker up there going to 3, but he was 10 last year.
Yes.
It's not crazy. Jaden Daniels being 6.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Bo Nix.
And Bo Nix, I think,
Bo
was,
Nix
was,
shocked the
was
shit
the
out of me.
bigger surprise of
Yeah.
being 8.
Yeah.
I didn't even have him in the top 4 rookies, let alone like the.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was it. Just to watch him play. I'm like, shit. I misdiagnosed that situation.
If you would have said 2 rookie quarterbacks are going to finish in the top 10 going into
Like
the season,
Caleb Williams,
And Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels,
right?
yeah.
Yep. Running backs. Oh, number 1 on the season as far as total fantasy points. Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah, he did it all in the last week of the season.
the last week, I think, is where it all came.
Oh, that's
He's a
great.
monster, though, dude.
Which kind of isn't really in the fantasy season because nobody plays the last week.
I heard someone say, wait till they get rid of David Montgomery and it's the Jameer Gibbs show. He will get hurt. So they better pray that. And Montgomery's re-signed. So you keep that backfield just the way it is. It's fine. You don't want Gibbs to start getting into that 300, 350 club every year of carries, man. That'll wear his ass out.
Yeah, and I wish there was a way on this that I could actually shut it down at week 17, but I
just
can't.
see, yes.
So for that, we're just doing this.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to go average.
Think of it this way. Saquon did not play the last week.
Right.
How much was Gibbs over Saquon?
Okay, then he was 7 total points over Saquon. Saquon had a higher average.
Yeah, Saquon.
And then what did Gibbs put up?
A point more per game.
40?
Yeah.
The last week, and
So it was
Barkley
a
put up
comeback.
0.
So Saquon will give number one.
Saquon was the number one, really.
But so we can do it like this. I can just give you the top 10 guys.
Let's hear it.
All right. Gibbs, Saquon, Bijan, King Henry, Devon Achane, number 5.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs at 6, Kyron Williams, James Cook, touchdown machine, dude.
Yes.
Fucked up.
Alvin Kamara and Chase Brown.
Kamara, man, just shitty offense. Old man just won't go away.
He won't stop. Can't
And he
stop,
catches
won't stop.
lots of passes.
Yeah, he does.
Right outside the top 10, we have
Kicks lots of asses, too.
Yeah, he does. We have James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving at 13.
What a sweetheart of a fantasy find that guy was.
Chuba Hubbard,
Chupacabra.
Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, Joe Mixon. Nobody is off to a hotter start than Joe Mixon.
Joe.
Mixon, and then Chuba was like 5 until he got hurt the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean that's a lot of those guys are really close in points. So those, a couple games missed really
Chuba
hurt.
Hubbard's the biggest shock in the running back world for me.
That's a big one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, he would have had some big games. I expected that, but to go the whole season and be like a legit fantasy threat, like what the fuck?
And then get his extension.
Yep.
Brooks re-tears his ACL.
So you're looking at Chuba as a top 50 dynasty player.
Don't know
yeah.
if Brooks. I mean, this is his second ACL tear. Don't know if he'll ever be the same.
He may not, but I've seen Frank Gore do some shitty shit to his knees in college, and he lasted longer than any other motherfucker. So you just never know. He's only 21.
You got to. I mean, obviously, if
He's
you
a
have
world class
him,
athlete.
sitting on him.
Yes, he's got draft equity. It sucks. It's definitely a setback, but he's the kind of guy you give up on, and all of a sudden he's on a new team at age 24, and he's having a breakout, and then he's a stud.
Luckily, in dynasties and stuff, you can just end up putting him right back on IR, and he just sits there.
Yeah, it's not where if you can't get shit for a guy, you hold him. That's if he's got value.
I tell you what I was happy to see with Devon Achane, because I think there were a lot of question marks. What he showed when he was healthy last season, like he could be such a crazy high producer, but people were hesitant to draft him to be like their number one. Injury concern, carry the load. Raheem Mostert, people were worried about.
He's still my biggest concern, though. Like going into next year for top 10 guys, talking about like your number one running back. I'm still concerned. I know he's dynamic, but you're making good points that are going to last his whole career.
And I'm less concerned, I guess, because of what we saw this season. Miami was so bad.
Really bad.
And last year, Achane missed a lot of games.
He missed a lot of time.
This time, he got the ball more and stayed healthy. So it's like maybe he got into the NFL in that program and knows what to do to take care of his body.
I mean, he was basically a workhorse, man.
Where he got unlucky the year before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Third season's usually more of an indicator like who you got. Like 2 seasons is 2 separate seasons. I feel like that third kind of
203 carries, 907 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns.
What was his catching?
He caught 78 balls.
78 balls.
Jeez, dude, for another 592 yards.
That's where they need to use them.
6 more touchdowns.
That's the sweet spot. 200 carries. I wouldn't go over 250 carries ever in his career.
No need to.
200 carries and the rest of them a special design plays.
Yeah, and that's what he gives you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to be.
Like Austin Eckler.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird,
similar
though,
like that.
when guys like that get you points more than a guy who you feels like a real bell cow.
We all saw that all at the same time. Like,
But
we got studio issues.
Yeah.
Studio issues.
so the
Wireless headphones would have helped me there.
Like, oh no, oh no.
took the whole system with you.
All right, whatever.
But I liked seeing Chase Brown finish in the top 10. I thought that was cool.
Wild. We misassessed that backfield fantasy pundits and
Well, it also like
other analysts.
he got. Well, we kind of all saw it. We didn't know that he would be as good as he was whenever he got the opportunity. And then Zach Moss, whatever injury he had, where he was like, he's just done for the year with his neck.
Open the door, man.
Chase Brown, yeah, and then it was just wide open, and he caught a lot of passes too. And there's games where he was like the focal point. Just give it to Chase Brown.
He's one of the reasons I won the radio league. I got him in a first-round pick for Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
That helped me. And then I also drafted Brock Bowers and Brian Thomas. That's why.
And then you traded and
That's why I got
JT.
Roger Predactor.
I mean, we cut Eric out of the picture.
Yeah.
It's fine. Here, you guys
That's
go
fine.
ahead. Let me go do a little.
Nobody cares about me
Yeah.
over here.
Actually, you're the closest, Eric.
Yeah.
Will you go?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, Big Dan.
That's why Dan's the closest.
Big Dan.
right there.
Big Dan's the closest.
There you go.
He's the one who tried to rip everything out of the wall last time.
He was
so
like, "You don't need to be in this picture."
There you go. All right. Shout outs to our camera guy.
Strapping.
So, a couple of notable names who sucked hard. Brian Robinson, number 29.
Yeah.
I expected.
With a better offense.
yes.
I felt like he had a better year, but I guess he
he
didn't.
didn't. I expected big things from him this season.
He would have a good game, and then you'd be like, "All right, he's got it." And then the next week he'd put up 4.5 points.
Yeah, it's because I don't own him. I only kept track of. Oh, he had a good game.
So
Of
you'd be
course
like,
he did.
a good game, and then
Yeah.
you go look and be like, "Oh no, he did."
Yeah, I didn't have any stock in him. I tried getting him, but glad I
He
didn't.
only missed 3 games this season. It's not like he was injured.
And I want to say he started off good, and then it went downhill, and then he'd have a good game, and then it went downhill.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, man. He went. He had 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. He had like 6 touchdowns in the first 8 weeks, and then after that, 2 touchdowns the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What if the Bears traded DJ Moore for a 4th-round pick to the Patriots? Because I heard.
Not a 4th round, the 4th pick.
Oh, the fourth
overall pick.
Oh
Not
my
the-
God,
not-
that's why I asked you about it. I'm like, dude,
yeah, not a 4th round.
Someone in a barrage of articles that I read.
Yes, I saw it where they're like,
There's
oh,
another. They were also interested in a couple other guys.
DK Metcalf.
and
they were
someone
talking
else.
About. They're talking about DK Metcalf.
They had like 3 guys lined up, but for that, I wouldn't do it if I'm the Patriots. I
No,
wouldn't
the
go-
Patriots aren't going to do that. They could end up taking Tet from Arizona
I'd give him a
and have
4th-round
a
pick.
5-year control over a young guy. They're not going to grab a 27-year-old guy. Not with for the 4.
Stupid.
It doesn't happen. Like
No.
it just doesn't happen.
That was an abrupt transition.
Yeah.
Sorry, he asked me. He's like DJ Moore for a 4th rounder. I'm like,
it just hit me in my mind. I'm like, did you hear that?
I was like,
it's fucking stupid.
Like, here's some running backs who had a letdown of a season. Brian Robinson, hell, you're like, hey, how about DJ Moore?
yeah,
Trade
dude.
for a
It was on my
4th rounder.
mind, man. I mean, there's no format. I don't see like a fucking show list of questions. So, yeah.
There doesn't.
Yeah.
There's no need for a list.
It's just jumping
We're
around, you
no,
know?
it's fine. It's fine. I was just like, hold on. I'm trying to tie everything in my brain. I'm like, wait a minute.
Like, where did
Yeah,
this
no,
come
it has
from?
nothing to do with anything. It's
I
just
think
football.
we just sharp turn left.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
I just had to bring it up. It hit my brain, dude. I can't help it. How my brain works. Saw an opening, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of DJ fucking Moore to the Patriots? That would
Right?
blow.
That would.
no.
They
The
can't let him go.
biggest letdown as far as running backs go this season. Now, Christian McCaffrey aside, because most people drafted him number 1,
That has to be the biggest
and
letdown.
he was injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
counts.
mean, it has to be because we didn't know ahead of time. So people drafted him and brought
Assuming
him.
that it was going to be a week or
that
two.
he was going to be. Well,
That's
they
the
thought he was going to be fine.
Yeah, it's the biggest disappointment.
So he's got to be number 1. Then we can say after
give
that.
me one that's not injury related.
Well, that you can't do that because most of the time it is related to injuries on disappointment. It's not necessarily just sucking.
Oh, you can do it.
Yeah, but I mean, injuries just as equal as anything of like bad offense and
Early on, John Taylor.
yeah.
Yeah, but
He came on with a vengeance in the end, but
Mm-hmm.
early on,
What he finished in the top? He's
He
only like
finished like
15 or 17.
11 or 12
He got
or
up that high.
something. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Ramondre Stevenson.
yeah,
He performed exactly like I told you assholes he would.
28, right ahead of
Sucks.
Brian Robinson.
Overrated.
Yep.
But some people thought he was going to be better.
Those are the people I don't like to be friends with.
I've got a better one. You ready? Travis Etienne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Healthy all season. I think he missed a game or two.
He wasn't
lucky
healthy
enough to
all
get out
season.
from under him.
I think he only missed 1 or 2 games, but he finished as running back 35.
Yes, some of those he barely even played. He missed a few early. I know because I had a Tank in a league.
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, Okay. I get to throw him in now this week and see what happens.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be that was 2 weeks. He missed 2 weeks. ETN all season.
But then there was also
Felt
ones
like
where
a
they're like
6 week absence.
they're just going to play him a little bit.
Well, that's even worse. If you have an active player
There's the not going to make him a bell cow.
that you spend a lot of draft capital in,
I just don't understand how Jacksonville sucked this year with Brian Thomas being a badass.
he
and
was
just,
awesome.
Just weird, man.
I
Good
also
for
had him
Detroit.
on
Trevor Lawrence.
my championship roster. I also had
Yeah, BT.
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, me too, Bubba.
And he was, I don't know. Well,
Do you have Brock Bowers? Because I sure as fuck
We
did.
don't have to start tight ends in that.
Oh,
league.
yeah, well, you should still have him. He's like a top 5 receiver.
Yeah, I know.
Not
Yeah.
even a tight end, just a
Dude.
top 5 man.
I would have started him if I had him.
Got the hairline of my great uncle, but he's awesome.
And then scrolling through, I don't really see anybody else that like jumps out as a.
Yeah, don't keep looking. You'll get scoliosis, bro.
Well done. Scoliosis. All right. Receivers. Your
Receive it.
Your boy, Jamar Chase.
Did he win the Triple Crown?
He's pretty impressive. The Triple Crown?
Yeah, that's most receptions, most receiving yards, and most touchdowns.
he did.
It's the Triple
Did
Crown.
he really?
He did.
It's the Triple
for him.
Crown.
The last person who won it, Cooper Kupp,
Ah, my sweet little Cooper
a
Cup.
few years back.
Yeah, I'd say more than a few. Jeez.
Let's see. Receiving.
Receive it.
Jamar Chase, 127 catches, led the league.
Bam.
1,708 yards.
Led the league.
Refresh. Led the league.
Touchdowns.
17 touchdowns.
Won the league.
Led the league. Yeah. Jamar Chase, dude.
Just love him.
What
Just
a
love him.
monster.
No, I haven't loved a receiver this much since probably A.J. Green and Chad Ochocinco.
You know who had the second most receiving touchdowns in the season?
Who dat?
For receivers, anyway. I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin with 13.
Tear Bear. Finally got a QB, and you see what you get with the tear.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown with 12.
Don't think he
And-
dropped a ball all year.
Oh, he was incredible. And then, oh, no way, dude. Tied with 11 touchdowns on the season. Wide receiver Mike Evans. Sure.
Jeez.
And tight end Mark Andrews. What?
Just out of nowhere at the end, just started just catching touchdowns.
You remember when we were like dropping Mark Andrews?
I mean, I
'Cause
haven't
he
in
was
Dynasty.
trash?
Yeah, in Dynasty I wasn't, but in redraft I'd have done it.
T. Higgins had 10.
Yep.
Same with Justin Jefferson.
and missed multiple games. T did, but that shows the Bengals of what they had to do. They were losing games. They had to throw. Burrow, T. Higgins.
I think T. Higgins was number 2 in wide receiver point per game average.
Yeah, like number 1 was Chase, and number 2 was like Higgins
yeah.
or something.
And I still lost the Super Bowl in that fucking league, and I had them
points
both.
per game.
Points per game, I've got Chase at 1. I mean, Godwin at 2, but that doesn't count.
Oh, sweet Godwin. You know how many people are like,
Puka and St. Brown tied with 18.8 points per game.
God, sweet Puka.
Justin Jefferson with 18.7, and then T. Higgins with 18.6.
How do so many
So they're all right
NFL
there.
Yeah.
teams fucking miss on Puka, dude? How
Fifth
in
round
God
wide receiver.
Blessed hell did that happen?
He's awesome.
And
Wow.
I mean, it's just taking over the number 1 role there.
Jeez, dude, it's sickening.
But here goes the top 10, just so we can react to that. Chase, as I said, St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas, number 4 as a rookie. Drake London, hey, look
That's
at that.
weird. Doesn't
That
feel
is weird.
right.
Malik Neighbors,
Stud.
right. Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, number 9.
Garrett.
And then JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, number 10. Wow. We'll give a few more too. 11, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, that's a shocker. And it's all the Bo Nix
Right?
experience, man. Unbelievable.
12.
Didn't see that coming.
Devontae Adams at 12.
Sheesh.
Lad McConkey at 13.
I want you to think about that. Devontae Adams finishing there not on one shitty team, but 2 shitty teams.
Impressive. And he's not getting any younger.
He didn't even look at the playbook. He's like, dude, I've got 3 routes. Just I'll tell you which one I'm running.
But Rodgers is like, I know, just go do
Yeah,
that.
just go do that.
Go do that route, and I'll throw it to you.
Jerry Jeudy at 3rd. He's also tied. He's tied with Lad. They scored the same exact amount. Jerry Jeudy. Then Mike Evans and DJ Moore. Then your sweet T. Higgins.
Go DJ.
Tyreek Hill, apparently on the move to a new team at some point. I don't know.
He's pissed.
Guy's weird.
Yeah, he is.
Jacoby Myers and then A.J. Brown.
Good thing
Rounds
he's
up
making
top
like
20.
50 weird more kids, too. That's all we need is a bunch of little weird Tyreeks running around.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Wrap it up, bro. I'm not trying to hear to tell other grown men how to spend their paychecks or what to do with their wieners, but bro, take your paycheck and buy some fucking condoms.
I mean, at
Jeez.
least pull out. At least just try it. I don't know.
Just try some celibacy. You've had enough sex for everyone, bro. Just chill.
He's like,
go
nah,
to church, dog.
He likes Dick Cannon. Like they
Dick Cannon.
they got multiple kids.
What they should call him.
Multiple women.
Was that good or what?
Boom.
Fucking Dick Cannon.
Yeah. So the surprises, I feel like, that's
Brian Thomas is shocking.
3 rookies in the top 13.
Neighbors is shocking too. You got to say they're shocking. I mean, I expected Neighbors to
None of
have
them are Marvin
a
Harrison.
good rookie year compared to Thomas.
None of them are Marvin Harrison.
No,
and
none
that,
of them
he
are
was the
Marvin,
one that
yeah.
everybody
Well,
expected.
I still like Marvin Harrison
You got to.
long
You got to.
term.
But it's just a disappointing start to his rookie. Even though he had good numbers, they weren't what we were expecting Randy Moss.
But also, when you saw what the other rookies did, then you're like, whoa.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
dude. You're supposed to be better than those guys.
Yes.
Marvin Harrison finished as the receiver 30.
Man, you should trade him to me, Eric.
Nope.
I traded 4 second-round
I'm good.
picks and T. Higgins to get him in the offseason in the 12-man league.
T. Higgins and 4 second-round picks?
A few other.
It still feels good. It kind of feels a little, I don't know, it feels fine.
A little dirty, but you still feel all right about it?
I think it sounds like the prison guards will be here momentarily and I'll be saved, but it's still happening. You know what I mean? It's still
Xavier
still
Worthy
happening.
came in at 33. He kind of came on strong there towards the end. I think I'm going to like having that guy on my team going forward, along with Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison, by the way.
Yeah, you might enjoy that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to like having all 3 of those guys. Biggest disappointment. What do you guys got for receivers this year?
Receive it. I know he's only a tight end, but Travis Kelce, I thought he still
Well,
had.
we'll get to
I
tight
know, but he
ends,
still
yeah.
receives. You know, he's more of a receiver. I just felt like guys like him were letdowns. You know, he's talking about Mark Andrews, so I guess we'll go to tight ends later. But the most for me was just some veteran tight ends that were X factors, and then just like Cooper Kupp kind of checked out for me in spots where I didn't think he would. I thought with Puka on the other side, he still had more gas.
I'm
that
with
one,
you.
that one kind of hurt.
How about this?
I need some names though.
I definitely thought that. Waddle. I thought was
that's
going to have
that's the winner right there.
was
dude.
going to have a better year.
Yeah, Waddle's not only had a bad year, but his dynasty value is in peril. Like it should free fall in the offseason.
I'd buy low now if
Yes, I think he's a good buy.
Tyreek's moving.
I'm going
He's
to tell you
he's
what.
like 27, I think, or he's going to be 27. So he's not a young, like you still
So
think of
you
him being
think-
like 24 years old or
you
something.
think Waddle will do better with just double coverage all of a sudden?
No, they'll bring
I'm
somebody
just
else
telling
in,
you.
but still,
I think
he's
the true colors of Waddle were shown. Injury prone.
well. If he's just no good and he's done.
I wouldn't buy low on him personally.
But-
I think there's some other ones out there that you've recommended that are good, but for me, buying low and it's going to stay fucking low.
And another one who I bought this year, DK.
Yeah,
yeah, that hurt.
I thought DK started off, he was fine, and then he got injured, and I bought on him whenever he was injured, and then he came back, and they're like, nope, now it's JSN, not as much DK. So I don't know if DK
He'll be on
stays
the
there.
move. He'll be on the
I don't
move.
know if he
He
stays
should
there
be.
or if he's on the move. I think that they should. He's on the last year of his deal. They can get a lot, I think, for him.
The league I won. I got JSN. I traded him for DK.
Yes.
It was not
There you
straight
go.
up, but it was like
Yes.
a little bit of
Yes.
stuff
Well,
involved.
you got a little more. You traded DK and you got JSN and a little extra on top.
Yep.
So here's something
felt it in
interesting
my loins.
that I'm looking at right now because I'm thinking back on the episodes we did where week in and week out, we're like, oh yeah, automatically you start this guy. And I'm looking, and he finished as a wide receiver 29. He didn't miss any time. Jaden Reed.
Yeah, no, I don't like
yeah.
him anymore. I'm not a fan.
Well, it was, and that's where we really
He's
liked
more
him.
of a flavor of the week guy for me.
We said that though. The whole Packers team, like, who's it going to be? Don't know. We think it'll be Jaden Reed, but it changes every week of who the person.
We know it's not Christian Watson.
Well,
not going to be next year either, because
Not gonna work here anymore.
not going to be playing probably football next year.
Yeah, we from what I remember, every week when we got to the Green Bay game, we'd say, well, you start Jaden Reed
Yes.
And then it's a crapshoot if you even want to start anybody else.
Now they're all crapshoots.
Now it is, right? Yeah.
But Dobbs turned into the better.
I still stick by the guy I said in the second show was Wicks. I'm standing by it. I think he turns out.
Sure.
It turned, what it really turned into was Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
you're right.
ride Josh Jacobs. It's like they didn't trust the pass catchers or they didn't trust Love as much. And they just said, let's just.
Or it was
we
just
don't-
working.
We don't need to.
And
Well,
every
we'll
coach
just
wants
go
to
Jacobs.
run the football.
Yeah. Control the clock.
George
easiest way.
Pickens finished as wide receiver 42, which is kind of a disappointment. He did miss 3 games.
I mean, for a guy who drops 7 balls and then randomly attacks the DB, I just thought that was right on brand for where he was going to finish.
He is
Right on fucking
man.
brand.
I mean, what a perfect,
No faith in that guy ever.
perfect Pittsburgh wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
So
dude.
much talent, huge head
Volatile.
case.
Yeah.
Just a head case.
No, I got no feelings for him. No buy lows. Just
No.
steer clear, dude.
No, like he
No,
already in his
I'm
mind.
gonna roll with him.
He's like, I'm the
Seems
greatest
like
wide
he'd be a
receiver
questionable
ever.
stepfather. That's the way I look at
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? So I like my players a little more fatherly figure-y.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with him.
I bet you are.
Decent flex option, you know.
You just like guys who gaff random D-backs,
I
dude.
do.
That's all. That's your deal.
So for tight ends, Brock Bowers
The man.
finished number 1.
Of course, the
as
legend.
a rookie.
He
And
will for the next 10 years.
that dude.
He won't next year.
Shut up.
Just changing it. He will after that, but he won't next year. It's just it has been changing every year.
Shit.
Then we have Trey McBride, who finally caught a touchdown.
Then he caught another one the next game.
He's a sexual a chocolate.
He's
Trey
so good.
McBride, if he could be the number one. Like,
Oh, he could,
like
but
if
he won't.
he would have caught 8 or 9 touchdowns.
Back up. Back
Oh
up.
no! I traded you that pick for Bowers, so
You
I'm
leave
gonna
Double B alone.
predict at all that since I don't have him, that he's not gonna be as
bet.
good.
Dummy.
George Kittle at 3, Jonnu Smith at 4, Travis Kelce at 5.
Johnny's the biggest surprise for me.
I had picked up Jonnu in one league, and then I held on to him for the first week. He didn't do anything, and then I dropped him.
Oh, sucker!
Oh, man.
Nobody else picked him up right afterwards.
No,
so,
why would you? It's Johnny Smith. Fuck
You
him,
know,
right?
I was like, well, he'll be better, and then I was like, he didn't. I'm like, dude, they're going to go to Tyreek and Waddle, and they haven't really used the tight end at all. And then he kind of filled in for Waddle not being there and stuff, and.
Well,
Knowing nothing is common for me in fantasy. Don't worry about it. I get it.
somehow Kelsey ended up 5,
Yeah,
and
it's
Mark
still
Andrews
disappointing.
ended up 6.
Jesus just tells you the state of tight end.
Yeah. Ertz was 7.
Wow. Turn
Zach
back,
Ertz,
turn back
yes.
the clock.
Right.
Well, that's what happens when you got a QB that can throw you the ball.
Sam Laporta, 8. Pat Furner,
We're here for-
9. Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, that
10.
was my sleepy little find. Top 10 tight end out of
Everybody
nowhere.
thought it was going to be Luke Musgrave, but then all of a sudden he's like, he's hurt.
I would have grabbed Musgrave, but someone already had him. I'm like, fuck it, I'll grab this Kraft asshole. And then I did, and he blew up.
He is an asshole.
Right, sorry.
Speaking of
Delicious mac and cheese, though.
Kyle Pitts, big congratulations. Cracked the top 15 this season.
At 15.
Sack
At
of shit.
15.
Sack of shit. Hate him.
You should.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. He's the worst, dude.
God damn it. What a upside piece of shit.
None more disappointing than I would say maybe Jake Ferguson, who finished as the 26th best.
Yeah, Turd
tight end.
Ferguson. It's a funny name.
Yep.
His was injured and no Dak.
Dude,
And it
talk
just
about
terrible.
That's why how bad of a season he had. We stopped making that turd. Oh, I did. I stopped making that Turd Ferguson joke after week 2 because he wasn't doing shit.
didn't
We
even
never
talk
fucking
about him.
talked about him, so couldn't even bring it up. Salty, man.
Yeah.
I had a whole year of Turd Ferguson bits lined up.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year you can work those out. So let's talk about maybe rookies real quick.
Man, I got a laundry list of love.
Yep.
There's a lot to love in this.
Whose kids are these?
I don't know, man. They like martial arts, though.
We obviously talked about Daniels and Bo Nix cracking the top 10. Caleb was 16. Drake May, 23.
Drake May looks
on the
good
season.
for the. He needs weapons. He needs stuff to throw through, but he definitely passed the eye test of.
He's got
looking-
some Josh Allen vibes to him
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Spencer Rattler, Michael Penix, who I think shows some promise. I think he's going to be pretty good.
And he's getting that job a lot earlier than what we kind of thought he was going to.
It's uncanny, the ability for the Falcons to find left-handed quarterbacks named Michael who are one letter away from being a penis or a dick.
I saw that online.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's other than that. I mean, Joe Milton got some snaps.
Hopefully
for
they
New
get
England.
Hopefully they get like Michael Rock. You know, their next QB.
I don't get it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to get.
But moving forward, any of those guys, I'd like to have in Dynasty in some capacity. I think all these guys have pretty bright futures, man.
And the injured JJ.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy,
who just magically could be traded.
Yeah, well, you ain't going to take Darnold's job.
I'll tell you right now, plenty of teams will take him from the Raiders to the Titans to the Giants.
Or do you just franchise Darnold and run it back a year and keep JJ there?
I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. That's what I'll say.
And be like, well, we're keeping him. He's coming back from an injury. But it depends what happens in the playoffs. If you go to the playoffs and Sam Darnold just is terrible.
There's a lot to consider.
It depends how far, because he played terrible the last week.
Yeah,
when it counted against the Lions, and he was not somebody who you're like, oh yeah, franchise right there. It was like, no, big game and you fell apart. So
he really did.
Yes. So let's see what he does. And he needs the right system, and he needs talented receivers and a good running game and a good offensive. I mean, it's a great system right there. But I mean, it's one of those where you can insert, same thing with the 49ers, I think. They have good systems, good playmakers, good offensive line, where you can put in guys who may not be franchise, superstar quarterbacks that can be really good and maybe overvalue themselves in those systems.
Yeah. Well, rookie running backs, it was not a strong year for rookie running backs.
Unless your name's Bucky Irvin.
And that's it.
The buck stops there.
Finishes as the overall running back 13. He was the highest producing rookie running back
by far.
And Dynasty, that's like you go after rookie running backs. That's what you want. But this season, man, there was not much to pick from. It was Bucky, and then Tyrone Tracy finished as the running back 26.
And he was a 5th round guy. Like the guys who were drafted, Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson.
They didn't even touch the field.
Were the top 2 guys of rookies that were drafted. And
those were the 2 top rookie running backs I took to rebuild my running back room in the fucking side. Just set myself back another generation.
I mean, there's a few other guys who, they had a few fantasy blips on the radar. Ray Davis looked good, but
limited, whatever he did.
Braylon Allen.
Allen looked good. Yeah, there's guys who had little spots.
A game here or there where they look good, but
Isaac Garendo, San Francisco, looked good when he was out there.
But for the little bit, and then he got injured. Yep. So it's like, okay, you're not going to be a bell cow type guy. You're already injured.
Audric Estime, Denver.
Which you never know with Denver. He
Sunshine
played,
State. Gorgeous.
Looked good and then bad and then good and then bad.
Yes, rookie. Yeah. So other than that, there's really hardly anybody worth mentioning.
But I think we knew that going in, that there wasn't a superstar running back. This wasn't a superstar rookie class at running back.
No, this was a superstar rookie class at wide receiver. So a lot of names here that you're going to be like, yep. Brian Thomas. We already talked about him, and Malik Neighbors and Ladd McConkey all finishing in the top 15. Then the very next highest scorer was Marvin Harrison, who was wide receiver 30. He didn't have a bad season. He averaged 11.6.
He was just under what everyone was wanting the next Randy Moss rookie year, and he didn't deliver.
No.
And then Xavier Worthy, then Roma Dunze, who was he had a lot of serviceable games.
And then a lot of not serviceable games.
Yep. Jalen McMillan from Tampa Bay, who really came on strong.
At the end.
Yeah.
But he
scored 2 touchdowns, the goddamn finals.
Yeah,
Jesus
me too, dude.
Christ.
Me too.
He went to Washington. He was before Rome and Jalen Polk. It was McMillan. He was the number 1 guy there. Then he got injured, and then Rome and Jalen Polk took over at Washington, and he was kind of the forgotten guy.
Polk didn't do shit on a team that didn't have shit, and he still couldn't find time on the field.
Anything, dude. Drafted so early in the 2nd round.
What a dick.
So early.
I think McMillan's going to be good.
I think
he's going to be good.
I think he's played well enough that if cap-wise they can let Godwin go.
They're coming off an injury, kicking 30's door down. It's writings on the wall.
Xavier Leggett coming in after that, Carolina. I like that kid, too,
I
man.
do too. He underproduced. I thought he was going to do much better. So we'll see. I think Bryce Young's shown that he can probably get shit done in this league.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm with you. I love Leggett.
I love listening to him talk because he's
He's
so
the best,
he's so
dude.
country.
It's so good.
Him,
He brought Raccoon into the locker room, like cooked Raccoon for everyone
Yeah.
to try.
Did he really?
Yeah.
that.
him, and there's another country
awesome.
guy.
Pass,
who's-
pass.
There's another country rookie receiver
Well,
that everybody likes, who I think is going to be a real good dynasty guy.
How much of your fantasy
that?
winnings have you spent on soup supplies?
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman is the next guy on the list. Keon
Yeah.
Coleman, Buffalo, next guy on the list. I mean, he had some nice games. It was your prototypical rookie receiver season of like.
Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was
Highs and
injured.
lows, yeah.
But he was like 20, 21. I mean, he's young.
Yeah, he's a young dude. We got Devon Vele, Ricky Pearsall, who pretty good. Some pretty good showings after getting shot.
Vele is a rookie, but he's like 27.
Dude, he's so old.
So old as a rookie.
He is literally 27
27
years old.
Jesus. A lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called Veelies.
What did he do? Did he like redshirt and then take a COVID year or
and
something?
then
How
get
is he
hurt
27?
and then go on mission for BYU and then came back and got his doctorate and fucking went to JUCO for 3 years, got eligibility again. Like, it's awesome.
Yikes.
I still got my 4 years eligibility.
But he still looked good.
He did look good. And then we got Jalen Coker, another rookie receiver of Carolina, who
Undrafted.
I got him, thank God, in the rebuild. So I may have struck out on my first round pick, but my free agent wire acquisition, bam, nailed it.
not much to talk about with rookie tight ends other than Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Broccoli Bowers is the man.
AJ Barner in Seattle.
I actually have AJ Barner stashed in all leagues, so I'm pretty high on his. He's got that really kiddly Gronk taste from their rookie year, where you can kind of see that he's got a nose for the end zone. If he gets between the 20s game down, that's how you get an X Factor tight end.
The one who I really liked, and then he tore his ACL, was Eric Old.
From the Bengals.
Eric All,
They
Cincinnati.
literally
Love
took him
him.
in and they were like, "You're just starting," and he looked good. He was blocking. He was
He's
doing
gonna be
everything.
good.
And then he tore his ACL again, and I'm
He was
like,
a stud at Iowa.
I mean, he was, even though, despite all that, he was the 5th highest scoring rookie tight end.
Dude's going to be good.
Yeah.
I like him.
Jatavion Sanders.
He was supposed to be
Carolina.
good.
Yes.
He
Yep.
still could be.
Yes,
He's got
he
good
still could
athletic
be.
profile.
Disappointed in Ben Sinnott. I thought he was going to be.
same.
I thought he was going to be a big
it was
deal, man.
it was Zach Ertz.
The good news
What
is
are we doing?
Like Ben Sinnott was like, I watched his tape. He looked ridiculous.
He's still gonna be
I think
ridiculous.
and he was second round, so he's a second drafted tight end. He was a second round.
He's got Jaden Daniels and a promising offense, so he's a dynasty hold.
A good buy low
Yep.
if you can.
Yeah.
Probably won't even have to buy him. I'm sure you could either sneak him in a trade or you might be floating on the wire.
I mean, I drafted him, I think, in both of our dynasty leagues. I think I drafted Sinnott in both of them.
It's a steady hold, and most of us
That's what
when we
I'm doing.
grab a situational tight end like that, we're not looking for year one elite
No.
production.
No.
You got to sit on him. Brock Bowers is a super rare talent, so
Yes.
All right, let's breeze real quick through these playoff games. I want to see where your guys' heads are at.
Okay.
Chargers or Texans?
Chargers. Go Chargers, go.
Chargers.
I think I'm going Texans.
All right, well,
Close.
elite.
That's a close one.
Yeah, it is.
Steelers, Ravens.
Ravens.
Agreed.
Cacaw. Mm-hmm. 3 cacaws.
Denver, Buffalo.
Man.
It's closer than you think.
It is. It's one of those where I want to say Buffalo, but on little side it's like Denver might just sneak in there. Buffalo just can't do it in the playoffs. Like they just can't. I'm going to say Denver.
Shut
I'm gonna
up.
say that's my upset.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. I like the sauce.
Yeah.
Look at
same.
you guys are like, it has to be, and I'm like, man,
I mean, the Sunshine State is gorgeous, but
it should be. I'll be rooting for Buffalo, but I'm just going to say an upset.
I'm rooting for the fan base that jumps through tables and squirts mustard and ketchup on an old guy.
Green Bay, Philadelphia.
Philly.
Yep.
Green Bay.
Really?
I think Hurts doesn't play this game.
Well, Hurts will play, dude. It's
All
concussion protocol. He missed the last week. He'll be
He
out.
missed 2 weeks. He's supposed
You
to
can play
practice
through an
today.
ankle. You can
Yeah.
play through an ankle. You cannot fail 1 day of concussion. I'm just saying.
They said he was
even
supposed
if
to
he
practice
plays, I think he plays timid. I don't think he runs the ball. I don't think he brings anything to the table. I think he's just out there. I think Green Bay wins this one in a shocker.
I
Suck
think.
it.
Could be. I mean, like,
you're
everybody's
allowed.
good. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
Except Green Bay just lost to Chicago.
Yeah, well,
yes.
didn't count for anything other than just regular season bullshit.
Washington, Tampa Bay. That one's so hard, dude.
Yes.
That one's so
I could
hard
see
to
either
pick.
team winning, and you'd be right.
I'm going Bucks. I'm going Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going
It's hard-
Baker in Tampa.
It's hard to trust a rookie QB in the postseason.
And I just think Baker's willing to bring out like some sort of shiv and get this job done in the
He's
street
made
yard
some of
style.
the best throws I've ever seen in my life this season.
Yes.
pretty
where the
impressive.
guy, who was it? Was it Max Crosby who was trying to take him down, and he's just holding him back with a stiff arm?
No, that was Bosa. That was against the
Was it
Niners.
Bosa? Okay, but that was
No other quarterback yells at guys and says, "Get your weight up! Get your weight up!"
I mean,
Why'd
but what
trade
a
him?
throw! Like,
That was Nick Bosa.
yes,
Dude, why'd I
like
trade
superstar.
Baker?
It was a superstar, and he's just stiff arming him, and then threw, and that was like third or fourth down.
That's
where
when
he,
I knew our season was over. I'm like, well, we got no shot.
Can
dude.
I get Baker back in the
So I'm,
dank
gonna say,
league?
so I'm gonna say no, you can't. So I'm gonna say Bucks.
We going Bucks? Did you go Bucks?
Yeah, I went
All right.
Bucks.
Minnesota and the Rams.
Upset Rams.
I mean, Rams are the higher seed.
Well, Minnesota is 14-3, but it's Minnesota would be. But I'm gonna say,
Yeah, I'm
say
sure
that
Minnesota's
the
the betting
Rams have
favorite.
been on fire.
That's such a tough
And,
one,
and,
dude.
and you have Stafford.
That's such a
And then
tough
you
one.
have Sam Bradford. Or you have Sam
It's
Darnold, who's
not
never
for EC,
never been
swinging
there.
shooting from the fucking hip.
Yeah, he is.
Bam! All right,
Yeah.
I think I'm going Rams too.
all right, cocksuckers. Listen up. I'm going with Skull
Okay. All right.
Vikings.
All right. So then, if we have round two, how'd this work out? We'd have Buffalo and Baltimore. We all picked those guys. Well, you picked Denver, right?
Yes.
So you'd have what? Denver and KC.
And then you got
Yeah.
Denver winning that one too, don't you?
Nope.
Denver Super Bowl.
No.
What are you, Schwinn?
No.
Schwinn?
I got him winning one game.
Schwinn's our buddy who's
So-
a Denver fan. Just
So Eric, you would have then. Let me figure this. You would have Baltimore against the Chargers in the second round, right?
Yes.
Don't they do like reverse seeding? Highest seed gets the lowest available.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's how they do it. So if you have Denver beating Buffalo, Denver's a 7 seed. They would take on Kansas City in the second round.
And Kansas City would beat them.
Right, and so you would have the winner of the other games, which would be the Chargers and the Ravens.
Yes.
Who wins that?
Ravens.
Okay, all right. So you're still ending up with AFC Championship, Baltimore, and Kansas City. So
Yes.
nothing too crazy.
Nope.
All right, Big Dan,
what's up?
you got you went Chargers.
Go Chargers, go.
Okay, all right. So Chargers or the Chiefs?
No, he went Houston.
You went Houston?
I said-
went Houston.
I
you went
said
Houston.
go
Okay.
Chargers, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
How dare you tell Arnold? What he thinks.
Well, I'm gonna have I've got Houston winning, and then they would be taking on Kansas City, and Kansas City wins, I think. So you'd have Chargers in Kansas City. That would be
Yeah, and I got the Chargers winning that.
oh, there you go.
I got the Chargers winning that shit.
That's an upset. And so then, Dan, you and I both have Buffalo, Baltimore meeting in the second round. I've got Buffalo.
I got
winning.
Buffalo winning.
Okay, all right. Flipping over to the other side, who picked Green Bay? You did.
My ass.
So your ass did. So your ass, Green Bay or Detroit?
Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit.
It gets confusing because you guys both picked 7 seeds, and it's confusing me how I need to. Okay. So then you would have Tampa Bay and Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So who wins that?
I already picked that game, didn't I? I picked who'd Minnesota playing?
You picked Minnesota and the Rams.
In the Rams. Yeah. I still got Soda winning that one. I got Minnesota. Yeah,
All right.
Minnesota.
5 seed advancing to the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric Kranz, you and
NFC.
I. Yeah, NFC, my bad. You and I both had Philadelphia beating Green Bay, so we both had Tampa Bay winning, and then we both had the Rams winning. So it would be Rams against Detroit in round 2.
Detroit.
Taking Detroit, Rock City.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we would have Philadelphia and Tampa Bay round
Philly.
2. I agree with that also. So NFC champion, we've got Philly and
Detroit.
And you had...
I haven't been asked the Philly question
Okay.
yet.
Well, you have them losing in round 1 already.
Yeah, to who?
To the Packers.
To the Packers.
Okay.
So
and
you've got
Packers.
Minnesota and Detroit playing in the NFC champion.
Okay, I got Minnesota, Detroit. That's perfect. That's what I would have. And I got Detroit winning that.
So you got Detroit going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Eric Krantz, who's going to the Super Bowl?
Philly.
Yep. That's what I have too. Philly versus
Kansas City.
Kansas City, not who I have.
Go Chargers, go.
You got Chargers going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
You got Chargers knocking off Buffalo in the AFC Championship? All right. I've got Buffalo knocking off KC in the AFC Championship game.
Dan, living on the edge.
I've got Buffalo and Philly in the Super Bowl with Buffalo winning it all.
I got Detroit
You've got
against the
Detroit
Chargers.
against the Chargers.
And I got the Chargers to
Shut
win it all,
up, dude.
I got the
All right.
Chargers getting their first one, dude.
I would love to see it as a secondary Chargers fan. My second favorite team.
Jim Harbaugh proves that he is the only answer to championship questions.
So you're Chiefs and Eagles?
Yes.
Who wins?
Chiefs.
Oh, God.
What
how
a pecker.
Stupid.
Get out of here. Leave. Three-time champion.
What sucks is that you're right.
You're oh,
Like look at who they have as
so pathetic.
as pass catchers
You're
that have
pathetic.
just rested. That they have everything. They have such a dominant defense. They're so good,
Yeah.
and they have the best coach in football.
Yeah. Their win differential this season is like tiny. Like their point differential, I mean.
Oh, I know.
Is so
I know.
small.
They
I
have
just took the Chargers to the building,
Yeah,
dog.
you did.
This house.
Yeah, you did.
Housed them. House
I
call.
don't even know. I'm not sure that you understood the question.
Some of them came at me in Spanish. I felt
You're like,
but
wait a minute.
I
Who
thought
did
I
pick?
I thought when trivia happened, I like slowed it down and got in the zone like Jordan, but I think things just sped up and I just said stuff.
that happens on these. You're like, you know what?
You did.
I'll take this right now. I'll take this.
I'm like, no matter what he says, I'm picking A. So
Well, earlier in this little broadcast we did, Dan was like, dude, I would take the Eagles if I was getting some fantasy players because I think they're going to go far. And then they're knocked out in round 1.
That's exactly right. You said I'm taking the Eagles.
He goes, I would take Eagles players because they're
So
going to
we're
go
only
far.
going to remember my words this show, you fucks. Listen up.
So consistent.
Now,
well done.
Well, listen, I was talking from
Losing round 1.
I got just load up on the Eagles, man.
I got a little lost in the upsets.
I'm so glad you remembered that.
Oh,
dude.
I'm not.
Wow.
That's terrifying.
That
I'm
was-
just on here talking.
that was
I don't
terrible.
Give a fuck about back checking and
That was
fact checking.
so bad.
Piece of shit. Listen up. That was for team picks, all right? I changed my mind as the show went on. I said, you know what? I'm going upset city because
Yeah,
these
you
pricks
did.
are all
Things
taking
change.
You
Things
did.
change as
It's
the
a
show went
fluid.
on.
It's a fluid situation.
Yes. Yes.
Here's point differential
So
on
I'm
this
not
season.
writing any fucking Eagles in that. That's why I don't play that shit. I'm done.
The Chiefs have a point differential of 59.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, it means they have beaten all season long their score versus their opponent's
Like
score.
fantasy stuff, yeah. 59.
Yeah, they've outscored their opponents by 59 points all season.
Is that terrible?
total? Well, look at Buffalo is 157.
That's way better. That's a
better.
bigger number.
Baltimore also 157.
So what you're saying is you guys picked a team that skeets by, and you think that's just going to keep going for another month?
No, the Chiefs. I didn't pick the Chiefs. He did.
Yeah.
I got
You're
the Chiefs
ski-
losing
you
to
are
Buffalo.
ski.
I think the Chiefs, some teams when they get there, they just want to win more than everybody else. and
Everybody
they will
wants to win. That's wrong.
Yeah,
That's
I want to
wrong.
win more than Pat Mahomes does. I just
Everybody
can't.
wants to win.
Yes, but some are just
More?
seem to want to do it more. I mean, they're willing to do everything for it. Pat Mahomes, I think, does. Kelsey, I mean, they've done it. The
So,
Chiefs have done it for 2 years in a
have.
row. I hope they don't win it again, but I
Same.
think they will. I think they'll be the first team to three-peat.
I think you should ride Eagles to the finals and then
You
pick
should
the
write
Packers.
Eagles to the first round.
Yep. Hey,
Where
probably
they'll
put up like
lose.
500
I hope the
yards.
Chiefs lose their first game.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm just trying to go with upsets because every time I pick chalk in the goddamn playoffs of any tournament, it gets flipped upside. You just can't
Yeah.
take the high seeds every time.
Highest point differential in the league was Detroit with 222. They beat the shit out of their opponents this season.
they're good.
I hope they win it.
I would love to see that.
That's
man.
who I want to see.
I hope
win
the
it.
Chargers do, so I can come
Or
back
the
on here
Chargers.
next year and tell you guys to eat a bag of dicks.
You won't remember that's who you picked, dude.
I only will because I've been absolutely upended on today's show, so I will not.
I will remind him, and he'll be
Yeah,
like,
I will.
"Oh yeah, I did.
I did suck it.
Thank you for reminding me."
The Rams -19.
Yeah, that's a weird story altogether.
Yep.
Yes. Well, but they've won what 8 in a row or something like that.
Last 5 games, they're 4-1. I mean, yeah, they lost their very last game, which
Okay, but I don't think it mattered much. No, yeah, because they rested everybody.
Yeah,
but
they rested
besides that,
everybody.
yeah, the 4 in a row. I think they'd won more before. I mean, they'd just been on fire.
yeah.
I think that they were like 2-4 or something, and then they just won every game after that. Like,
There is a part of me this season because as a Niners fan, the last few years, they've just been super good and competitive every season. That the playoffs have been exciting but kind of stressful. There's a part of me this season that's kind of like, I can just.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know that playoff stress being a Bears fan, really.
No, that's
it's been
true.
a long time, so
Devin
I'm just
Hester.
like, oh,
Yeah,
the
you guys
playoffs.
have been asshats for 99 of your 100 plus years.
Dude, yes.
Real stupid. It's a real stupid team.
Yep, terrible management.
Yep.
You
Yep.
guys fucking suck.
Yep,
Real bad.
we do have one Super Bowl victory though.
That's it.
I remember that
lifetime.
one.
That's
In-
one
in my
more than
lifetime.
the Bengals, but
Yep.
we also have like 60 less years of shit to clean off of our jerseys. You know what I mean?
I wasn't alive during that time though.
Doesn't matter. Your team was, and they are fucking stinky.
Fellas, let's get out of here.
Let's ride.
It was a lot of fun. We might, in the off season, get
I
together.
would like to dabble in some dynasty off-season
Well,
talk.
we will 100% be firing this show up like well in advance of the season.
Sure,
That's
sure.
going to happen.
I'm talking just in the dog days, keeping people active on Dynasty. If anyone wants to do a Dynasty episode, we can break down anything you want Dynasty.
Yep.
We can talk draft strategies, trade strategies. I'm here for you.
And we can just I bought a piece that plugs into this to ensure that we can do phone in stuff. So that will work.
Okay.
So if nothing else, like we can do a few just whatever we want episodes. Right? We don't have to fit this doesn't have to be any kind of format. We can just do whatever we want. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm kind of in charge of recording this and uploading it. And
Freedom.
There's no right.
Little freedom on
I
that.
was talking to Bonzi today. He's like, how's your podcast going with your buddies? I'm like, it's cool, man, because we don't have like the restraints of radio. He's like, so you guys can just say like fuck? And I'm like, yeah, man, we can just say that.
Yeah, fuck right off.
Yeah, we can just say it.
Yeah, fuck you, Bonzi. Specifically.
So the kids like
I'm teaching them early.
it. And on that note,
What are you going to do?
I mean,
Do as I say, not as I do.
yeah, they'll do as you do. That's what my kids do.
Well, then they're going to like playing Madden Fantasy Football because that's what I like to do.
And saying fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play fantasy football, man. You say fuck.
Yeah, you did. All
Why
right,
didn't you
fellas.
pass to that guy? Fuck!
Fun season. Congrats on your titles.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Spectacular voice. Hey, you're listening to a show full of champions. Remember that. We don't just
there's a
talk
reason.
the walk.
Yeah, championships.
We talk the talk, too.
Champion.
Touchdown.